Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to my new video where I am going to go over 5 tips that I think are extremely important for supports to carry into the new season. Now, if you are new to the channel, my name is Lofit. I do educational content. I do guide videos, tip videos, and I also stream every night if you have any questions and want a live answer. And also, I am willing to help you out. If you want an OPGG review, I'm going to start opening that up because I was able to finish most of the requests that have been commented on my other videos. So if you want one of those, I will help you out. Just put a link to an OPGG account in the comments down below. Now, for the first tip, I really wanted to go over. I want you guys to look at the current meta. Now, with the meta being in its place where it's very quick games and very big snowball potential, supports with lane dominance are really shown to just be quite meta right now, particularly in solo queue. It's going to be different than what you're going to be seeing in the pros, but if you have a lot of lane dominance, you're able to push the enemy out of lane. If you're able to poke them out, if you're able to play like Brand or Zyra or just something that is very aggressive and get those early plates, it can just lead to an extremely strong snowball, and you're able to rotate to the top lane if your top laner is struggling and then get the plates up there. So keep this in mind. Always look for a support that you think that you can really just dominate lane and just snowball from there with. I think this is going to be the best way to give you the most agency throughout the game with the support lane. As always, guys, I'm open to feedback and criticism. I'd love to hear your thoughts down below, and that will wrap up tip number 1. Alright, so I'm not going to be going over tips for warding. I did just make a video on warding. If you want to check that out, is my my previous video. So I'm not going to be covering that at all because I just went all into the warding and I gave out all my tips I possibly can for that. So with tip number 2, I want to talk about champion select, which is really important with the support because you are quite susceptible to counter picks. So what I want you guys to develop is a small champion pool, but a diverse champion pool. I want you to have one champion that is a safe blind pick like Morgana that you have developed, and then something that is extremely aggressive that you can take advantage of particular supports like Brand, like Zyra, and just be able to counter pick in certain situations. So and then I want you to have a different archetype. So maybe you have a mage, you have a good engaged support, and a safe blind pick. So with those 3, I think that's the holy trinity of support picks. So if you can kind of set those up, that would be a very effective way to look at your champion pool for the new season, and only play those 3s. It's so important. This is I was asked on an earlier stream where someone said what would be one tip that I would give a bronze player, and that would be to find a champion pool and stick with it so you can get extremely experienced in the matchups and know what works into what, when you have your power spikes, when you should be going in, and it's really going to up your play overall. For example, my current champion pool right now is my safe blind pick is Morgana. I'm going to be looking to probably swap that out to Karma soon because Morgana is going to be getting a rework, and then my engaged support is Braum and sometimes a little bit of Leona. And then just kind of the thing I look to do counter picks with are either Vigar or Brand, depending on the matchup. So once you develop a champion pool that you kind of have thought about a bit, you put a little bit of critical thinking into it, and you'd be like, hey, I think that with these 3 champions, I can really be effective and I can learn the matchups. I think this is going to be a great way to look at the game to better your game before you even get into it, is just to kind of get a piece of paper out and just write down 3 champions that you think are going to be quite effective for you in the new season. If you have any questions about champion pools, this is my absolute favorite thing to talk about people with because support is my main role. It's my most played role. And I have so much experience in the lane. I have like thousands of games on support throughout a couple different accounts and different champions. So I'm extremely willing to help you guys out if you have any questions. And that will wrap up this tip. Okay, and getting into tip number 3. Now I want to talk a little bit about just when you get into the laning phase as a support. It is extremely important. One of the most common issues I see with people that are playing support in low elo is they do not interact with the wave at all when they are support. What you need to be looking at is if you want to get that early level 2 cheese. This is so important for champions with great all-ins at level 2. If you're playing something like Lux, if you're playing something like Leona, if you're playing something like Karma, that have some slows and CCs that can really take advantage of that level difference. Your difference in power from level 1 to level 2 is like almost like a 70% increase in your power. So if the enemy support isn't interacting with the wave and you think you can get a good all-in at level 2, make sure to push the wave as hard as possible and as soon as possible with your ADC. Now, sometimes ADCs are going to complain a little bit about this because they think they're going to be freezing, but if you are in a elo from iron to gold, I would recommend just putting it on mute all, because those are some of the most toxic ADCs you will ever encounter in those low elos. So always look to push out the wave if you think you can get an all in and get that cheesy level 2 and snowball from there. I can't count how many games I've won just because I've simply pushed the wave enough to the point where we're going to get our level advantage first, and then I looked for all ins to kill people. Now, if you have any questions about this, I'm open to help you guys out with this. I am going to be doing some live coaching. If you want to join the Discord, in the description, I'm going to be doing some live coaching this weekend. I'm just going to send out a message, and like the first 4 or 5 people, I'm going to help them out, and I can kind of go more in depth with anyone that wants to talk about wave management as a support. And yeah, that will wrap up this tip for supports. Okay, and getting into tip number 4. Now, I have gone over this in a previous video before, but I think it is so important and not too many people saw that video. What happens when you lose your tower early? This is going to happen. Your ADC is going to be farming pretty deep in the lane, and their bot lane, unless they are completely insane and terrible at the game, they're going to be rotating to the other lanes to look for tower pointings and to push out other outer turrets and not push in too far and overextend to your tier 2. What you want to do as a support, you do not want to be around your ADC helping him here when it's just a dead lane where there is no one in it. What you want to be doing is rotating and matching the enemy support and looking for roams here. You are just chewing up extra experience that your ADC can be getting, and what it means when your tower is the first one down is it means you're behind in the game, and you just want to try and have your ADC catch up, and you're always going to be wanted to help out the other lanes when their bot lane is rotating. So always look to help out the lane. Maybe look for a roam mid first, and then try and match the top lane switch that they usually do after taking the first tower. So really look to take advantage of your dead time when you are a support. This is just the absolute worst thing you can do as a support, is your first tower is already taken and you're sitting with your ADC splitting experience and not doing anything because no one is around. I've taken advantage of so many supports that have done this and just out-rotated them. So always look, if the enemy support is doing this, teach him that this is a terrible idea and that you should be rotating when the first tower is taken down. Whether you are the losing or the winning support, you need to be moving around the map and affecting it and putting out as much pressure as possible and giving as much support as possible. And it's always a great time to ward out objectives, and yeah, to just look to roam. If you have any questions about this, let me know in the comments down below. Okay, we're going to wrap up with the last tip. We're going to go over just kind of min-maxing and optimizing your choices as you play support. Now, this is just a random build. I think this is my Akali build, so pay no attention to this. What you want to do and realize is these games are going to be shorter, and you want to take the items that are going to best give you the most amount of power on the first item. Items, for example, that give you a great one-item power spike are going to be things like Ardent, going to be things like Zeke's, going to be things like Redemption. And then also you want to be looking at runes. A lot of pro players right now, I see a lot of supports taking Demolish to get those early points and to push, and they're just maximizing how much damage they can do in lane. They're going more aggressive builds. They're maxing their damage ability maybe before their shielding ability, just so they can push the lane in quicker and get those turrets and get those plating. It is so important. It is the best way to catch your team up and your allies around you, by getting plates and taking towers. If you're one of those people that come into my chat that I see so often as like, hey, I usually do really well, but my teammates are playing like shit and they're pulling me down and I can't carry. The best way to get them back into the game is by rotating, taking objectives, taking towers, and getting plates for you and your team. I know I'm saying it's simple right now, but it can just help your game out so tremendously if you're looking at objectives and not at kills and chasing people around. There is so much gold to be had from these new turrets, and if you are just playing to get these turrets down quickly, it is the best way to approach the game as a support. That'll wrap up the video. If you guys liked the content, please remember to like and subscribe. I can't believe we are already at 3,200 subscribers. It just blows me away. Thank you so much for your support. And as always, guys, take it easy.